it is Chestermcfly live. Yeah. I was just working on the intro, just fucking around. But I don't know. Just wanna see if I can get some people in here. Let me move this light back a little bit. It's got a new light, so I make this look better. How's that look? That look pretty good. Yeah, I say so. That look pretty good. I had that light. Yeah, that's pretty good right there. There we go. Ryan Glover wants to come in. Hell yeah. What's good, Ryan?
What's good with you, man?
Not much, just chilling.
Yeah. I'm chilling, bro. Like I just had a Dutch apple pancake for breakfast, man. Like I ordered from this breakfast spot, like you know what I'm saying? Shit, just chilling up
That's
to
how banging.
late morning. It was bomb though, man. Yeah, like what's been good with you, man?
Not much, just I told you it's your buddy messaged me and shit. And I don't know, as soon as I brought up the Red Roof Inn, he didn't want to be my friend anymore for some reason.
Man, like I don't talk about like, speculation, like you know what I mean, and stuff and everything. Like at the end of the day, like I feel people's they have a right to like have a private life. So like
Yeah.
I don't ever like, like get into like conversations and stuff and everything like with him about stuff like that. Cause like the way like I feel it's like that's not none of my business, man. Like I just
Yeah.
like, and stuff and everything like I have like purely a business relationship with him and stuff and everything, and like I appreciate that, because like there's been other rappers, some pretty like known rappers, like I've gave money to do Zooms with, and like other rappers have tried to like beat me out of money. So it's like I appreciate it. Not even like for like a lot of money, like you know what I mean. It's like talking like
Yeah.
hundreds of dollars, like you know what I mean. And then rappers will be like, oh, like like not responding to like the Instagram messages or like phone calls, whatever it may be. And like so he's pretty consistent, man.
What do
That's
you
the
mean,
one
like
thing.
after you? So, like, what do you mean, like after you pay them, they just won't show up and shit?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's definitely happened to me before. And like some known rappers, like I don't like the. I've written some blogs about it, but I kind of like have moved past it. I just put it out there. Tragedy Gaddafi, like you know what I mean. And stuff. Like I don't know if you know who he is. Like
Yeah, from
he's
the Outlaws.
no,
Outlaw.
from Queensbridge.
Uh,
The one from Queensbridge. He created.
yeah, the other Gaddafi. I think he
Yeah,
died,
he was
right?
part of the Juice Crew, and like he was like he created the word Illmatic, like you know what I mean. I paid him to do an interview, and like never did it. Man, like a lot of I like what I'm saying. It's like a lot of like rappers and stuff. Everything they tried one earlier this year. I tried to do an interview with this rapper, and like his manager, like it was like I didn't know, like but the artist was in jail, so like it was an in-person
Oh shit.
podcast interview. How's he gonna show up from jail? Like he's
Yeah.
gonna. I didn't pay him, but like he was going around like, yeah, we're gonna make this happen. This interview, I was like, I'm not understanding because like I didn't realize he was in jail. Like
That's
you
crazy.
get my. He's making
You
it
get
seem
like a
like
voice call, like how like Shine used to make his albums and shit. You know what I mean?
right. Yeah, he's making it seem like he's gonna have him like what I'm saying, exported from the jail. Like, oh dog, nah, that didn't work. Say we just got to do a voice call.
He want you to
No.
put money on the books. Like, yeah, just put the money on the books. You know what I mean? Instead of paying him.
So yeah, like I don't know. I appreciate people that do good business and stuff just because of experiences like that. Like I think like a lot of people and stuff and everything like getting people to show up. Like I don't think like people realize how logistically difficult that is. Like even like even people I haven't paid. Like I've had problems with people like canceling like last minute. Like I'll do a podcast. I'll book the studio. I still gotta pay to use the podcast studio.
Yeah.
Then they don't show up or like for whatever reason like sometimes and stuff and everything I understand like geographically depending on where you are. Like one time I was supposed to interview Joyner Lucas and he's gonna come over
That's crazy.
but like it just like wasn't a convenient location for him. It would be like easier to like go to him or be like in an area like where he was like because like in Chicago most people perform at like Reggie's, which is closer to downtown. So it's like a bunch of like factors that go into that and like be sensitive of that. Especially like when you So like I'm still learning the logistics of doing like in person type stuff. But like
Yeah.
I haven't blown like a whole lot of money and stuff or anything like doing interviews. Like I did an in person interview with Auden Wiley. I was supposed to do another podcast interview. I posted it. I ended up doing it, but I ended up doing it with this lady named Sandra Dorsey. Before that, I went through like a number of different guests. I was like, the Orlando rapper I was telling you about. And then I was like, before that, I was supposed to interview a promoter from Orlando. And before that, I was supposed to interview like, some other people. So, it's just like, it's difficult, man. Like getting people to show up. And,
You said like what?
especially,
Everybody from Orlando like canceled on you? You're saying?
huh?
You're saying like all those people from Orlando canceled you? I'm like, don't interview no more people from Orlando. I was saying.
Right. Well, no, they didn't cancel. Well, the one person I was supposed to interview, they were just kind of flaky, weren't like really communicating and stuff, and everything. So like I just like I was like I'll find another guest, and that's how I found like the guy like and stuff or whatever who was like basically he was trying to scam me and stuff, everything about like the rapper not being in jail.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
so like so like some people be hard up, and stuff and everything too, like for like money or whatever. But and then like I don't know. So like it's just finding good people and stuff and everything to do content with, you know.
I
But like
seen
I
that,
pre
that that guy. What's his name though? I seen the interview. That guy was saying he got Orlando Anderson, Orlando, yeah, or Orlando, the guy Orlando who used to play the kid actor. You know what I'm talking about?
Orlando. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, yeah. I don't know his Orlando. His
But
name
yeah, they said they pay. Yeah, they said they pay that dude. He said, "Thank you. You don't have to pay me again next time." He was saying like $5,000 or something for an interview on
Orlando
that fool.
Brown, right? His name's
Yeah, yeah,
Orlando.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, he gets paid like he's like, oh, like you say there's different levels to these interviews or whatever. But like I would interview him, but like people like him and stuff and everything, like I feel like he don't really be adding anything like necessarily relevant, like to the conversation and stuff and everything. That's more like tabloid journalism. Like I really be trying to do like, real interviews with people and stuff, have real discussions and get to the root of issues. You know, I feel
Hell
like,
yeah.
a lot
What
of
up,
like stuff
Christopher
he said,
Jordan?
a lot of the stuff he says and stuff or whatever. What's up, Christopher Jordan, man? Like a lot of the stuff he says is just like tabloid type stuff. Like I feel like there's like kind of like a that's kind of common. Like like even like Jaguar, right? Like anybody can like toss out these allegations, but then
Yeah,
like to
yeah,
have
yeah.
any proof or like anything substantive that you could like point to and say like that's true. It's like you could say anybody's like a homosexual, but like how do you know unless you were having sex with them? You know what I mean and stuff or whatever. Like that's it's
Yeah,
like a lot
where's
of
the proof?
they, uh
Yeah, where's the proof? You know what I mean? I hear it talked about,
yeah.
but there's no proof.
Yeah, like I mean, people say like a lot of things. It's just like it sounds good, like in a headline, and like it comes like a little bit different. Like when somebody's saying like this is the first person account, like this happened to me, but like these are like third
That's
party person stories where it's like it's like oh I heard this. Like it may be something there, like what I mean, like the Hype Williams, like taking a plane that Aaliyah was supposed to be on, like that may
yeah,
have like
yeah.
what I'm saying something to be looking to, like the Shakir Stewart, like being like really close to like Kim Porter before like and Diddy threatened him before he ended up dead. Like those are all like and like he allegedly having a sex tape that he was being threatened with. Like those are things worth looking into. But at the end of the day, it's like uh folklore. Like how much of that is
Yeah.
like is true or like concrete or something like that we could point to that this is something that we can put faith in or believe in. And like a lot of like news outlets have these people on. And I mean, I feel like it does more like, just to cause like confusion and, gossip and like slander people's reputation. Cause like, at the end of the day, how would you feel like, something's not true and people are like, running around like, Chestermcfly, he's a white supremacist, it's
That's
like,
yeah. You gotta fight it though. That's you know what I mean? That's
yeah,
like I did with Talib over there.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you gotta protect your reputation, stand up for it. You've obviously come out better. You know what I'm saying? You see the YouTube plaque in the background, but like, it's like, it's like, I just feel like, a lot of mainstream media outlets aren't very responsible when they kind of like put things out, like even with the Drake allegations, like in the
Yeah.
like, where there's more information coming forth, but like, I feel we live in such a society where people will say they're victims and stuff just to kind of profit from it. Even like, when the victim, like, victimization never happened, or, you're a willing participant.
Yeah, now's the time, like, they just talked about him being like a chomo, basically, so you could have girls come out to woodwork, "Oh, yeah, I knew Drake when I was 13 and da da da," and that could happen right now, I could see that happen, actually.
Oh, and yeah, like, they can't get Drake. They're definitely gonna go after his father, man, and his grandma. Like, like the photos and stuff I've been seeing online. And it's just like, it's like you can take anything out of context. You can make things look like, a lot of different ways and stuff and everything. Like, and we've seen it numerous times, like with public figures. You know, there's some people who saying like, Drake, like, his career, like, maybe over, like Kendrick Lamar may have really, like, what I mean, done like permanent damage to his career to the point where he
Yeah.
may never have a number 1 record again. I don't know if I necessarily believe that, but we'll see. Time will tell. I think he will.
You don't think it's gonna be like a Ja Rule situation where, like, he's done forever, you know what I mean?
Nah, like, what I mean, it's stuff everything. I mean, I feel he's too likable. He makes too good of music. Like, what I mean. At the end of the day, like, what I mean, it's stuff everything. Like what he said right now is speculation. I think like, it could come to a point where, like maybe it's some more factual information where like people were like, yo, you know what I'm saying? That he is like that, but like right now, like I don't see that happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the whole thing with the Millie Bobby Brown thing is like, I don't know, like, is it it's like borderline creepy because he's an older guy talking to a younger girl, but at the same time, like, they're celebrities and they don't really have people to talk to, so I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, like I was looking at it from more like of an artist, like perspective, and like in the entertainment industry, you do meet younger people who like maybe like want mentorship, and maybe because she looked up to him, and like maybe like she understands like being in the spotlight, so like and stuff like I don't know, like necessarily like maybe those are just friendly text messages. There's nothing like nefarious necessarily about those, but like what I mean,
That's
it
what
would
I
be
think.
after. Yeah, it would be have to like look into like his behavior, like some of his behavior. I definitely could point to like situations and stuff and everything where from the outside looking in, like it seems like that he's doing something inappropriate, but like I don't know. I heard men like I went to Lee Strasberg, bro, and stuff and everything. This girl was telling me straight up that Drake was gay. And
What?
like what I mean, yeah, yeah. She would know. Like she was like a bad chick. Like I went to like like acting school with like a lot of like really well known people, and like yeah. She was telling me like he was gay. Like what I mean, and she'd be like at the parties and shit. You know what I mean? Like Justin Bieber would pull up to my school, bro, like to pick up chicks like back in the day. Like what I mean and stuff. Like one of my acting
That's
schools, like
crazy.
so yeah, yeah. So like yeah, man, like she was telling me he was gay, like what I mean, and stuff, everything. I don't know if like that was true. I kind of wrote an article about it, like on Hip Hop My Way. I don't know if that's true. Like, I mean, he always like is perceived, but like now that these allegations are coming out, like about Diddy and like all these other figures, man, it's like, who am I to say, man? Like, what I mean, there might be something to this Illuminati, secret society, skulls, 322. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
so what's that? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, like so but yeah, man, I always liked Drake. I saw him one time, like walking down Sunset. Like this is when the House of Blues was there, and he was like just chilling. He didn't even have his security, and like it was just him and like one of his crew members or whatever. Like I thought like Kendrick Lamar, like basically destroyed him in that battle.
Yeah,
You know what I mean and stuff. Everything like not the first two battle songs, they were okay.
yeah,
They
yeah,
were
yeah.
okay, but like what I mean and stuff, they not like us,
Yeah,
bro.
Not
Like
Like Us and Euphoria were dope. I thought Euphoria was good, but Not Like Us,
it's
like,
okay. It was
had
okay.
that West
Euphoria
Coast
was
pop, so you know what I
no
mean?
man. They not like us, bro. Like that's like man, incredible. And like you were saying, you said like OVO, the upper vaginal option, man. That shit is on point. what do you think about like people saying he stole like the bars off Twitter? That's like,
Yeah, I seen that. I seen him taking some. They said with the A minor shit.
yeah.
Yeah, Kendrick.
hmm But like you know, what I mean, even like you know, I mean, I think he's incredible. Like the way I was looking at it from the perspective of like just like the lyricism.
He was my favorite rapper. You know, when I used to love Kendrick Lamar, and I liked him and this guy named Bishop Lamont when they first got signed to Aftermath. And I thought Bishop Lamont was going to be big too, and he kind of like went away and went like Kendrick's way and shit.
Bishop Lamont like signed to Dre.
Yeah, he was signed back in the day. It was like Dre signed Kendrick and Bishop Lamont, and he figured one of those guys was going to blow. He was right. You know what I mean? And it was
Wow,
Kendrick,
like
obviously.
yeah, like I was never like a super fan of Kendrick. Like, you know, there's songs and stuff, everything I like, you know, like I enjoyed, like I respected his artistry. Like I personally believe, like I thought like Kendrick was like overrated. Like, you know, not necessarily like um I don't feel that way anymore. Like, you know, after this, like, you know, I cause like Drake was like probably like my favorite artist, man. And like Kendrick, like, you know, kind of swayed it in like a way, like, man, it's like, you know, Kendrick's like, I appreciate Kendrick, like, you know, just like as far as like his aesthetic and like hip hop and you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. Like, you
I
know,
thought he had like a steady growth, and then like Mr. Morale kind of bumped him down a little bit, in my view. You know what I mean? And then he didn't really do too much, so I was kind of like, maybe Drake's win. I think I told you like when he did Family Matters, I was like, I think Drake might have this. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
see,
then
like I
Kendrick came back.
nah, like I always like respected his work, like you know what I mean? I just felt like he didn't have like the umph, you know, like, you know, whereas like I connected to his work like emotionally like other artists. But I felt like, you know, with this, like I did, like it felt more personal and like, you know, from his perspective of it, like, you know, I mean, I definitely have more of appreciation and respect for Kendrick Lamar after like, you know, this Drake battle. Like, you know, it's like you can't help but give it up. I think like, you know, before I just like, you know, maybe my own bias. Like it's just certain artists, I just felt like they were kind of like overrated. Like it was like the industry favors them and like kind of pushes them to the forefront, and there's a lot of like really good artists that get overlooked or overshadowed for some reason. They don't get that same kind of like love. And you know, like I'm talking about like people like Joyner Lucas, you know,
Yeah,
people like Billy's, people like Russ. You know, it's like people hate Russ for some reason and some everything. And he like, you know, he's man, like, you know, incredible. La Russell, you know.
Christopher Jordan said Kendrick took the oath, and so did Drake. I believe it. I think that's why Kendrick had like the ability to go higher than Jordan Lucas because he had Dr. Dre behind him. You know what I mean? And that cosign right there pushed his ass to the forefront, especially when the recipe came out. You know what I mean? That was huge.
Yeah, like I mean, I think like sometimes this stuff, everything that your alliances and stuff work for you. Like especially if you have a big producer who like but like you've seen like a lot of artists who had that same cosign and didn't really do a whole as much or like a whole lot for them, you know. It's like
Yeah,
I
a
think
lot
like
of artists.
they're like, you know, like say Rakim, like, you know, when he was with Dre, like, you know,
Busta Rhymes, Eve.
Eve. It's like, you know, the Firm album, like, you know, wasn't really like, you know, as successful as people would have thought. Like,
It
you know,
should have been
so
a
it's
lot
like
better.
yeah, so it's like, you know, a lot of like people with some everything who kind of have that push, but it doesn't go anywhere. So like I mean, that's not all like, you know, stuff everything. I mean, I guess there's a bunch of factors that go into it, like timing, like what music, what projects you're putting out, how it resonates with the public,
Yeah, yeah.
because the consumer market is fickle. You know, I mean, like, you know, it's just like as far as like the timing, I think like right now and stuff and everything, it was like it worked really good for Kendrick Lamar because like, you know, people already are kind of like turning against Drake. All these people in the music industry are going against Drake. So
Yeah.
that falls into it, you know.
I think the whole thing with Drake though is basically Drake. He went from like running everything, and he thought he could take down Kendrick Lamar, and I think it was fickle to begin with, and people were just looking for a reason to come at him. You know what I mean? The writing was all over the wall. Like he just had to have one good rapper come at him, and that's why he ran away from Pusha T, and it was like, all right, well, is this what he's gonna do every time? And then when he came back at Kendrick, I was like, all right, this is a new Drake. I was happy to see this Drake. You know what I mean? And then he just made I don't know what he did with the heart. I thought he should have did something better. I don't think it should have ended that way on the heart. You know what I mean?
Man, yeah. What do you think about Rick Ross? And
He
like their beef,
corny.
man. I was like really surprised to see Rick Ross, diss Drake because they've had so many like, number one songs together. Like I would say more than half of like, Rick Ross's most successful songs have been with Drake.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I always
um,
thought Rick Ross was overrated. I was never really a fan. Then when I found out he was a correction officer, I was like, man, I got mistreated by correction officers. So fuck that.
did you hear the game diss? The game went out
Yeah,
on a
yeah,
bar. He was
yeah,
going
yeah. That's what I'm
say
saying.
these.
Like, and I like the game, and I think I mean, everybody was coming at Drake. Somebody need to come at Rick Ross or somebody and take it up. I think hip hop needs more battles. Like, I think everybody coming at Drake that's corny. Other people should go at each other. Like Street Wars. Remember, they used to have the Street Wars albums and shit.
Yeah, but like I mean, I think like those beefs and stuff. Although if they could say like on record, that's cool. But like a lot of times and stuff, it's like I feel like they don't. Like all this aftermath, even like right now, like his house, the embassy in Toronto, man, it's been like two incidences already. You
Yeah,
know, it's like it seems like I don't know if that's a result of the Kendrick beef, but it seems like that like it definitely like happened around the same time. And
I think it's the weekend though. You hear about the weekend's house. Something happened there, and then it happened at Drake's house. So
yeah,
I think that might be connected. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's like and then like you know, it's it just seems like like a lot of times people make records, but they like translate to like even like to the point where like Drake, for whatever reason, he moved out of Los Angeles. And like, I mean, I think that's probably like the smartest thing I've seen him do in this whole beef. He left LA because like when Chuck Knight said that on that one podcast, that made a whole bunch of sense. Like after he did the Tupac AI, you know what I mean? I
Yeah,
think like that was kind of like corny. I feel like who like advised him, like, like, hey, this isn't a good idea. Like you probably shouldn't do this. Like, and stuff like, I think like, but I mean, I feel like he just has like he brings like people like not from hip hop and not from the culture and not really invested.
yeah.
So it's like when I go into the comments, he has like this huge fan base, and like I feel like sometimes and stuff like those voices overshadow the voices actually in the culture.
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
I
like
agree with you. And they're like stands, and no matter what Drake puts out, like, oh my god, it's so good. Like I told you, I like Kanye West. I have a love hate relationship with him, but I thought I thought Vultures was kind of shitty. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
like Kanye, but everyone's like, oh, how can you say that? This song, this. I'm like, it's not a. I mean, Donda was better. You know what I mean? Like, and when you look at certain albums like that, even if you're a fan of somebody, I think you got to be honest. You know what I mean? You got to be real and critique
Oh
people.
yeah. Like what I mean and stuff and everything. Like I think like people and stuff sometimes and stuff make excuses for people like just because they like them. I try to keep an open mind and be objective, and stuff and just like really like focus on the music. Like sometimes and stuff I think like a lot of like other factors come into it, like where people and stuff and everything like take things like. But I really thought like J. Cole was the best out of all three of them. Like probably before like this battle, like I kind of like went. I thought like Drake was the superior artist to Kendrick, and I would give J. Cole probably like more so like the credit. And then like after J. Cole like apologized, I was like I kind of like I like that kind of made me feel like and stuff like I didn't I didn't hold J. Cole like to such a high esteem after that. Like I
I
just didn't
think they
respect.
got dirt. I think Kendrick had dirt on him, like something bad. I think he had something real bad on him, and he's like, listen, if you don't like get the fuck out of this, I'm gonna tell everybody what you did in Tijuana, in 2006. Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like he got a secret someday he know about. He's like, I'm gonna tell everybody about this shit. He's like, all right, I don't want no problem. He ran away, and that's what he pulled on them tracks. All the 7 minute drills, like that was on Apple,
Yeah,
Spotify,
yeah,
and
yeah.
YouTube, all pulled at the same time.
Yeah, that was wild. Like, there may be something like that. Like, and stuff like yeah, man, like I thought J. Cole was incredible, like, as an artist and stuff and everything. I was really surprised about that. But like, I feel like Kendrick, he really showed, like, you know what I mean, and stuff like that he's one of the best artists, bro. Like, you know what I mean? You can't deny it. Like, I think he's definitely a better artist than Drake. Like, I mean, as far as like he's a better artist than J. Cole by default. So like
Yeah.
right now, you know what I mean, and stuff, everything. I give him that. Like, he's definitely like, the top dude like in rap right now. He's proved it. You
Didn't I
know,
tell you the Snapple analogy that I tell you about that? I think J. Cole is Snapple. You know what I mean? Coke and Pepsi is number one. You know, some people want to fight to be number one, but Snapple is fine being Snapple. It doesn't have to be number one. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So that's why I
yeah.
think
I
J.
mean,
Cole is. He's Snapple.
I feel like J. Cole made a wise decision too, because like, and stuff and everything, like, he would have deflected from the Drake and like the Kendrick beef. You know what I mean? And stuff. So really, like, the beef and stuff and everything, and he still like, he still has a top spot. Because really now it's like I feel like it's Kendrick, J. Cole, and then Drake. You know what I mean? Until Drake has like, like he really has to come out with like a banger like for the summer. Because it's like, I mean, like, one thing I will say is like, we're not gonna be playing like, Kendrick Lamar in the club this summer.
Hell
So
yeah, they
like I
already
mean,
yeah, they are not like everybody's dancing and not like us. I see videos of it all over the place. And that's he was right, you got the culture. You know what I mean? You get the
yeah,
culture, you
but that's
got
not
it.
gonna last till June, man. By June, people will pretty much have forgot about it. Like, and stuff and everything. Like I feel like, like music is we live in like such a disposable era of
Yeah.
music, like where it's like, songs are just hot for like that moment, man. Like you were saying, by June it'll be something else. Drake has the ability, like, one hit song, I think really erase it and change the narrative for Drake. If he comes back and he does a number one, like, you know what I mean, and stuff, like it's like really, Kendrick won that battle, you know what I mean, and stuff. But he won the war, sort of like with Pusha T, you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
stuff. He went on to be bigger, to be even bigger as an artist than he was, like, you know what I'm saying, when Pusha T, like that diss, he's
Yeah,
like,
Pusha T didn't do. He lost all his momentum. I don't understand. He had that album Daytona that came out that was all right. I think he spent a lot of money for that album cover because that was like from Whitney Houston's, like one of her last pictures or something. You know that the album cover for
yeah, I heard
Daytona
about
and
that, yeah,
shit,
yeah, yeah,
all the drugs and shit. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. But yeah, like I heard about that. I think he bought the copyright from the photographer or something. Like I was reading, or what, for maybe I have to read that article again. But yeah, like I
yeah. I
don't know,
think
man.
I agree. Christopher Jordan said that one of Cole's homeboys told him not to get involved because Kendrick's a real street dude. And then he said that Chris Brown was chopping his. I think Chris Brown's diss actually might have been one of the best. I think maybe the best out of all the diss tracks that was released. And he killed Quavo.
Oh yeah, Chris Brown, yeah, man. Like, he's a talented guy, man. I wish, like, people would stop holding that Rihanna thing like over his head. Like that seems like that happened like so long ago.
Yeah,
Like, almost like, dude, was that like 20 years ago? You know, and like people
probably.
like,
It was a long
yeah,
fucking
like
time
the
ago.
NBA is like holding that over his head, not letting him participate in the celebrity game, man. That's
They
egregious,
are.
bro.
It is crazy because when you think about it, like how many NBA athletes have had incidents with domestic violence and stuff?
It's
Probably a
very rare.
shitload of them.
Nah, it's a small number. That don't happen a whole lot in the NBA. Like, you know what I mean, and stuff. Like maybe like a few. Like I bet you it's not more than a handful in the last
You
like,
wouldn't, but you wouldn't know about it though. You know what I mean? 'Cause they pay
yeah,
them
yeah,
off and shit.
yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying. NBA players make so much money. Yeah, like you don't really hear like a whole lot about them. Like, like as far as scandals or, like
The
you know
Zion and Mariah Mills thing, you probably knew
yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
with Zion Williamson, like, and stuff and everything, like,
Dumbass.
but like that's just bad judgment about the type of women, like, you're messing with, like when you start messing with like adult stars, like, that's kind of like should be expected to a certain extent, especially like the type of adult stars, like, the ones that do like espionage and you know um like what was the chick that got Kai Sinat and stuff, like, so it's like
Who got kind of? Oh yeah, I seen something about that. She was a. What was she accusing him of? Like, uh,
No, she wanted the extra $5,000 to for
oh
hush money, and he didn't pay it. And then she like exposed the videos that she took when she was sleeping. But they're like, that's his dumb ass fault for going around like an escort and falling asleep. You know what I mean? You
yeah,
get
that's
like
dumb.
way too comfy. You know what I mean? Like if you should know, like if you don't really know somebody, you shouldn't be falling asleep at all. You know what
Fuck
I
no.
mean?
That's
Like
how you get
around
your wallet stolen. I've heard all kinds of horror stories of guys wake up, jewelry, everything gone. You know what I mean?
yeah, for sure. Like I mean, I think people feel comfortable, but like, and stuff and everything. In his position, he probably just felt like, oh, like, saying she's a nice chick. She likes me because I'm paying her this money and stuff and everything. But like, yeah, man, like, you can't be trusting like these women, like, and they'll do you dirty, bro. So,
That's
you
why I like that UGK line. You better pick the right one and pick the kiddies up. You know what I mean?
know, yeah, man, you gotta use discernment. I think like it's a crazy world we live in, man. But the NBA, man, they get like a lot of women. I think like soccer players get better women though, to be honest.
Yeah. But you're right, John. I used to have season tickets to the Sixers, and I remember one time, um, I would go and get this keychain. Yeah, this John actually I had it on. So they would give these keychains for like StubHub and shit, and like you could win stuff. So I remember I was going to buy the thing, and I see all these hot girls. Right? I see these hot girls walking by me and shit, and they are gorgeous. And they all going up to this thing. I'm like, what's that? They're like, oh, they were the NBA players. I was like, that's crazy. It was like literally like 20 girls
Yeah,
knockouts. I don't know if they waiting for them or it was just crazy. I never see, and they were just all together. They sat right behind on the other side of the court, like in a line. It's crazy.
yeah, man. I have good memories of like going to basketball games and seeing stuff like that. Like I remember one time I went to I was a little kid and I went to a Golden State Indiana Pacers like exhibition game, and man, like that was like when they had Billy Owens, Chris Mullins, Tim Hardaway, dude. Like I mean, and like the women, like like magnifique. I was like, man, like NBA players, they live the life. And I've seen like some professional like boxers and stuff. Everything they get a lot of like pretty women too. But NBA, and soccer, dude. Those soccer players, man, are
Groupies.
killing it, bro.
Christopher
Groupies,
George said groupies. Yeah, fine.
yeah. You gotta have money though to get groupies and stuff. Everything. Sometimes and stuff. I be thinking like, man, I remember I was at the Venetian. I saw Ja Rule. This is like when he was at his apex before like 50 Cent, like it ruined his career. And like he had some beautiful women. I was wondering if those were like escorts, like call girls and stuff. Like I was like, that's like the first thought that went through my mind. But
Probably. I think a lot of them rappers like used to share girls. I mean, that's how that girl like Superhead was able to fucking write like a whole book about all these rappers she was fucking. You know what I mean? It was all like smashing the same Johns at the same time. It's crazy.
yeah, like I
You think
mean,
that they get a different girl, like you know what I mean? You think that they could meet like girls that they ain't all hanging out together. That shit's just weird.
well, like I mean, it's not really because it's like here's the thing and stuff and everything like you there's a lot of women and stuff and everything who just feel entitled, especially and not used to like living like with like people who have like money and will use that against them, like like false allegations. Like
Yeah.
they're not gonna be. It's different. Like if you're talking about like just getting a regular girl and like having sex with her, but you know what I mean, and stuff, everything. Like I think, like when you're in that lifestyle, you want things a little bit quicker, a little bit faster. You know what I mean, and stuff. The intimacy without the like, hey, like what I'm saying. It's probably easier to give $1,000 at some point than to give like, oh, your time and like what I mean, how you're doing today. Like what I mean, sending good morning texts or like what I mean, whatever people do. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
But
Like
that comes with a lot of pride. I think that comes with karma too. You know what I mean? I think that everything that comes easy ain't always easy. If you know what I'm saying. It's
no,
always
100%. Yeah, for sure. You know, um, you know, nothing is nothing is without consequences. I feel like nothing is perfect. You know, and I mean, at the end of the day, like a lot of those girls, like Corinne Steffens or whatever, or the porn stars and stuff that I've interviewed, they really just be looking for love. You know, and stuff or whatever, and like people take advantage of that sometimes, like and use them because it's like at the end of the day, it's like we live in a society, where it's like, I mean, it is like, kind of in men's favor for the most part, like a lot of like the areas where it's not is like, I mean, divorce, child support and stuff and everything. But like most other areas like really are in men's favor, so.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, I think a lot of it's the favorite. When he said that wasn't chili, that was left eye burned up.
Oh yeah, Left Eye when she like set like Andre Rison's like house on fire.
Yeah, yeah. She was trying to burn the shit. He was cheating on her, and like she ended
Yeah,
up lighting the whole fucking house on fire. That's crazy.
yeah. She tried to burn up his sneakers or some shit. Yeah, I heard about that. And like, yeah, man, it's like rumors and stuff, everything online, bro. Um, that Suge Knight had her killed. I was reading. I was like, people just go wild, like what I mean. So if anybody can say anything or start a rumor or make it seem like and stuff like it has some fact to it.
Would
Trapper
she
Lord
die
Mark,
like on an island? How did she die? Like on an island in the car or
she was
something?
yeah, I think she died in Honduras. She was in a car. She was in a car accident in Honduras. She was like, going. I think like she was doing something with like holistic healing, and like her car flipped over. It's like a video too, like of it. Like I think there's a documentary about it, and like it shows like the video like right before like the car crashes. But like she had hit a little boy. Did you ever hear that?
No,
She killed a little boy, and she was saying the little boy was hunting her.
that's
You ever?
crazy.
Yeah, you ever heard that? Like she killed
No,
a little boy. Yeah, she killed a little boy in a car accident, and she was saying like that the little boy was hunting her.
that's crazy. I believe that shit. I really do believe in that shit.
Yeah, he was coming after her. He was mad. Like I guess like
I just thought it was
so.
weird, like the timing of her death, though. Like she died around the same time Aaliyah died, right? Like really close together, like on some islands, like in Central America, like either the Caribbean. You know what I mean? It's like similar circumstance. I thought car, airplane. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, different modes of transportation and stuff or whatever, and then like both like really big '90s icons. Like transportation accidents. Planes. Usually don't crash. And like the thing is, stuff with Aaliyah, she wasn't even supposed to be on her plane. She was supposed to get on the plane that Hype Williams had took. So
yeah, but they
yeah,
said
man.
that she wasn't even supposed to be there, and she was supposed to do something. Damon Dash, because he went out with her. I remember him having some interview where he said that he was supposed to do something with her, like they were going to get married. I think he was talking about, and instead she's like, "Well, no, I had to do this one video shoot or whatever for like Rock the Boat, I think." And then right after that, that's when it happened and shit.
Yeah. Dame Dash seems like a straight arrow too, man. Like, stuff. I would love to interview him.
Yeah, I like him.
He talks some real shit. Like, I've been watching like Patrick Bet David. You follow him?
Yeah, yeah, I watch him.
He's been doing some good interviews, man. Like he just had like he did an interview with Cuba Gooding Jr., which was really good.
Oh, I didn't see that. Did he
Yeah,
ask him
yeah,
any like questions like about the Buffy shit?
yeah. He answers. He says all that shit is fake. He was like, he's been to a Puffy party. He don't really know Puffy that well. He went to one party. It was like a new, like he basically breaks it down and stuff and everything. But like, I really like he talks about like sometimes and stuff and everything when he was like filming Boys in the Hood, Snow Dogs, like Jerry Maguire. He talks about a whole bunch of stuff. It was a pretty good interview, man. But he was like, he don't even really know like Diddy like that. He was like all that stuff that the Little Rod lawsuit. He was like all that stuff is false about him.
Did he talk about like any of his lawsuits or? I was always wondering like what happened to him. He was like on top. That guy was like one of the best fucking actors in the world, and then you don't hear from him anymore. And then I see him in the news, like always being accused of grabbing girls and doing weird stuff with guys and shit. I even heard too, which is weird, allegedly, you know.
Yeah, I think like you know what I mean. A lot of times people just be money grabbing. They see like you know opportunities and stuff or whatever. It's like you know people feel like you know it's like hey that's my shot and stuff and everything to get money. I'm not saying like all those situations, but like you know once one person files a lawsuit, that opens the door for other people and stuff to be like hey, you know what I mean. It's like oh, I could say he sexually harassed me. He did this to me and stuff and everything. You don't take a whole lot of proof, and people be settling out. It's fairly easy to file a lawsuit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And stuff and everything. You could go pro se, file a lawsuit and stuff, and then a person has to go to court. Whether it's like you know. So I mean,
it's just always weird how like when a celebrity gets in trouble like that or being accused of something like that, it's always like multiple women come out at the same time. Like it's a plan. It seems like a planned attack. Like what happened to Bill Cosby. Like I thought that was really fucked up because like the shit was from long ago. He already had a trial with the girl that from Temple, and he was found innocent, and then he went back to court, and then after he went back to court and shit, I think that was it. You know what I mean? Like they put him in jail and they
so the
got him
way
out
I
of
look at it, man, it's like all these girls in porn and stuff and everything. They talk about like Ron Jeremy, right? I was in a
there.
movie. I was in a movie with Ron Jeremy. It was called Director's Cut, and
No
like you know,
shit.
I was on set with him, and like you know, what I mean, the whole day, like you know, what I'm saying, it's a bunch of like porn stars in the movie, like you know, strippers and stuff, everything. Because I'm in the strip club scene, and like you know, it was like all these girls were topless and shit, but they would be on him, like you know, just like looking for his attention and you know what I mean. And so obviously, this is one day out of this man's life, but this is the day I witnessed and stuff, everything. And then like fast forward, you hear like all these sexual allegations and stuff, and everything. But like I never seen him approaching a women that day. You know what I mean? Like I saw the women and stuff, everything like approaching him, and I imagine
I
like,
believe that.
you know what I mean, and you know what so the way I look at it, like I mean, and stuff, everything like I don't know, man. Like you know what I'm saying? I think like sometimes the stuff people can manipulate. You could say like maybe things changed and stuff, everything like you know he had a mental decline or you know all these stories or perhaps like you know people like felt like the opportunity to jump in. Maybe he had one bad incident and like you know what I'm saying a girl blows something out of proportion or you know I don't know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? When you got like all them women coming out at the same time, it's like it's a coordinated effort, I think, by like some lawyer or somebody doing it. You know what I mean?
Well, like, yeah, did you hear on the Joe Budden podcast? He was saying he feels like, you know, Drake may have somebody upset with him in the music industry and stuff and everything, like, because, like, you know, even on the charts, how, like, you know what I mean, and stuff, Kendrick ended up going number one, you know what I mean, and
Yeah,
stuff and everything. I thought, that, like, that was a little bit suspicious and stuff and everything. Like, you know, it was like, this is like a coordinated, and then, like, somebody's like attacking. It seems like it's a regional attack because it's like they're going after California, they're going after the South. You know what I mean? And stuff and everything. They're trying to affect his markets.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And stuff and everything, which was like pretty like I would say like California was like probably like the West Coast was probably a good region before this like happened. Like the West Coast is not fucking with Drake at all.
hey,
You know?
here. My daughter has perfume or something.
Yeah. Drake has lost the West Coast for sure.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, like you know what I mean? And stuff and everything. Like after this, you know, now like I don't know, man. Like I think like you know what I'm saying. It's just like it's interesting to see what will happen. But like I just felt like you know he's not like you know what I'm saying. Like you know in a good place regionally to be accepted by people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's hiding though too now. Like after this shit, I know he said he's tired and he wants to go on a vacation because he said he did a lot of concerts and shit. But like, if you win a rap battle like that, you can't go on the hiding answer. He did the same shit with Pusha T. Like I think that's his technique. He goes into hiding and then he'll just pop up like 6 months later and try to see what happens and shit. But I don't think that's a good I don't think it's a good idea. I think he should be out there fighting like how I did with Talib. You know what I mean?
Um, I mean, like I feel so like if I was Drake, I wouldn't respond to anybody for the simple point is like it's gonna benefit them more than it benefits you. You know what I mean? And stuff and everything. Like
Yeah,
people just win by beefing with Drake. If he responds and gives you like, a response, they help he helps their career.
yeah,
Pusha T benefited from like, the beef with Drake. Drake didn't benefit at all. You know what I mean?
nah,
I feel Kendrick Lamar benefited, he's got a number one song. Like, at the end of the day, it's like it's really no gain for him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can say, like, you know what I mean, as far as like respecting the culture, but I feel like this battle with Kendrick Lamar hurt his respect and his ability, like, to be taken more serious as an artist. So, like, I mean, like at this point, like, if I was Drake, I wouldn't respond to anybody. You know what I
I, w-
mean?
I hear you, but I'm saying like, if I was Drake, I would think that at least like maybe if he makes like another song or something coming up, maybe like throw one bar out there. You know what I mean? Just say, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Just say one thing.
Yeah, like I would do stuff like that. Maybe like you know what I mean and stuff like take some subs and stuff and everything. But like it's just like I would do subliminals because
Yeah,
it's like at the end of the day, it's like for him though, like going in and doing like full songs and giving attention, it helps like the other artists way too much. Like Kendrick Lamar legitimately has a number one song like on Billboard. Like he in his career, like you know what I mean and stuff. Kendrick Lamar doesn't have number one songs. That's technically it's not a number one song, but because of the timings and the relevance of it and the
yeah.
beat with who it is and like what he's saying, it's the number one song. So it's like without Drake, like that song couldn't be.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right with the subliminals too, because like that's all Drake's known for. And when he actually has to attack somebody, I think it's more challenging for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
sneaking somebody, he could do that all day, but actually challenging them, that's the problem.
Well, I mean, I think he did a good job, like you know what I mean, and stuff with this beef, like you know what I mean. To be honest and stuff and everything, like I felt like he was kind of up and stuff and everything until like you know what I mean and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar, man, like he just like you know what I mean and stuff like really showed him like this isn't a game. He takes this very seriously, man, and like he won. He got the one up. He had more content to say against Drake. It's not really a whole lot like you know what I mean and stuff and everything. Like Drake was reaching for things to say. I thought he did good, with like saying he the baby mama stuff and everything, but he had already like Kendrick Lamar had already told like he wasn't in a relationship with her anymore. He already
yeah,
has a song like you know what I'm saying about that. So you're just like it's like he's making it seem like it's a reveal, but like he really just reiterated things like he had really already said.
yeah. And
Like
then
that's
yeah, and then at the same time, he's trying to apologize, like he's trying to cover his ass, saying, "Well, all these stories are fake with the baby," and you know what I'm saying? Like he's trying to cover his ass and seem like more than actually come at K Dot. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, a lot of defense. I mean, and I don't know, like you know what I mean. He plays like a lot of too many games. Like I believe like the fact that he may have another daughter, like you know what I mean. It seems like Kendrick Lamar and stuff, and everything he may like you know what I'm saying, like that could be true. Like I feel like they try to say like oh like he was putting out false information, but like you know what I'm saying. I think like the character that Drake has, he very well could have another daughter. Do you see the cartoon they did where he's like the
Yeah.
little girl and like you're saying get back in that closet.
No, no, I didn't see that one. I seen the one where he was like beat up on the ground, and they're like telling him to. You see that one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And stuff. You see the one with Diddy? It's like you know what I'm saying. It's him and Diddy. It's like go to. It's like that. Oh man, so these cartoons are hilarious with like Drake and Kendrick Lamar and I
Meat
mean I think
Canyon, right? It's called Meat Canyon, I think, or Meat something like
I
that.
don't know what it's called. Yeah, but maybe so. Yeah, like I just saw it on Instagram, but I thought they were hilarious. It was so funny, man. It was like yeah.
But yeah, I think when it comes to this battle shit, like it's saving hip hop though currently though. And what do you think about like the record sales going down 40%? You think that maybe these battles are like a attempt to bring the sales back up to kind of save hip hop?
No, man, I think it's really like something. I think like it may do that, but like I felt like it was some real personal issues that have been brewing for a long time. Like for whatever reason, Kendrick and Drake just never liked each other. Like and stuff and everything. And that's been evidently clear. Like even like Marcellus Wiley, like he did that interview where he
Yeah,
was saying
yeah,
he went off on
I saw
Kendrick
that.
Lamar, like back then, because like I mean, like Kendrick Lamar has always felt that he's a better artist than Drake, and he has that right to feel that way. And I guess like Drake always kind of like was trying to treat like Kendrick Lamar like he was like his little brother, because he was the bigger artist.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
he it did work together though when he first came out with Poetic Justice and shit.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I
but
heard he
like
brought him
I
on
mean,
tour.
he was always trying to like little bro him, like and stuff and everything. Like like what I'm saying, like like never looking at him like an equal, never and then like what I mean, like when Kendrick won all the Grammys, that's the only area where Kendrick has really excelled more
Hell
than
yeah.
Drake. Like what I mean, as far as like with the Grammys and stuff, and everything. Like when you talk about like number one records and like stuff like that, like Drake's up there with the Beatles.
Yeah, with all them sales. But
Yeah,
with
yeah.
awards and like the Pulitzer Prize and shit, like I think Kendrick's in a league of his own. You know what I mean? I don't know any
Oh,
other rapper got a Pulitzer Prize.
there isn't one. He's the only one for sure.
That's crazy. I
Yeah,
didn't know
that's
that.
a huge deal. But like what I'm saying, I think like that falls into like I feel like him being overrated again. You know what I mean? And stuff, everything where he was just like, as far as like, I don't know, man. Like,
Yeah,
what I'm saying? You know, um, it's just to say, like, what I mean? I'm sure, like, there's that's like, where it's like industry darling type status, and like people are kind of like heralding your work and stuff and everything and trying to make it more significant than it really was from my perspective. Like I'm not saying that he didn't have like an influential like effect on music, but like I felt like people with some everything tried, just tried to like do, say like it had more impact than it did and stuff by like giving him awards like that and stuff and everything. Like, he just has like favor in the industry. I don't know if that's the Dr. Dre connections or whatever.
hell yeah. That's absolutely that Dr. Dre connection. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
Jimmy IB and definitely helping him out and shit.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's like I don't, I didn't like. I mean, I thought like Kendrick and stuff and everything was dope, but like I just don't see that. Like, if you think of like like rappers winning Pulitzer prizes, I can think of numbers of like what I'm saying, rappers that should have won Pulitzer prizes and stuff that were doing like way more phenomenal work than
Tupac should have won.
yeah, I mean, like, what I mean? Like, even like, the song like Macklemore just did, I thought that was a beautiful song, like, what I mean, and stuff. You probably wouldn't like it, because it's about Palestine. You hear the new Macklemore song?
No, I ain't hear it.
Yeah. You probably wouldn't be a fan of it, but you know what
Nah,
I mean? Like,
I told you I told you with that shit, man. Like I went to the protest, man, not that long ago. They just dismembered that shit yesterday, University of Penn.
mm.
And the people over there, I was talking to them. Those people don't know they don't know what they're talking about. They really don't. There are a lot of like white kids that like they want to be for a just cause, so they join this shit. And there was even a couple like Jewish guys, I guess, like who had some Jewish guilt. That's what I call that shit. You know what I mean? I ain't got that shit. I was there and I was going at it. One guy walked by and said, the Zionists are Nazis. I was like, yeah, but wasn't the Grand Mufti of Palestine best friends with Hitler? Oh, they get all quiet about that shit. Then they had this one dude, Mossad or whatever. He was like the son of Hamas. You ever see that guy?
Mm-mm.
His father actually started Hamas and shit. And he like
Oh.
escaped and he became like a spy for like Israel and shit. And he talks about him and shit. He goes on TV all the time. He was shutting down a whole bunch of people. And he's saying that they were he said Palestinians don't exist. They're Arabs, man. They're like a lot of them from Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, Syria. They're not from there, man. They came in there, and the Mizrahi Jews are the natives. Nobody knows that. They're like, because think about it, before Muhammad, there was Jews in that land. There was no Muslims, but there was Jews. So that means they were there first. Nobody want to talk about that, though. I just look, like I said, oh, you think you froze up. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, they had some peace. You go back to that link, I think you get back in. That sucks, man. It looks so weird. Ah, I was getting good too. Oh man, I was gonna get into that shit. That's crazy. But yeah, like I said, I didn't hear that Macklemore song. I think when it comes to this war, though, like they just need to actually release the hostages and then move forward. If they don't do that, then they're gonna keep crying. That's that. But I don't know what happened with Ryan. He froze up here. I got to go back and edit this title, and because I was going, are you there? I could have sworn I had seen his eyes blink. Did you see that? So weird. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna end this jump. Maybe come back. Uh, but yeah, yeah, that was so weird. His eyes look like they blinked. Did you see that shit? But yeah, I don't know. It was a good interview. Shout out to Ryan Glover. I got to go edit this interview because this is not what we were supposed to talk about originally. But you know what? I'll fix that. So thank you everybody for watching. Another good interview. I'll hit up Ryan afterward. Thank you. Peace.